All right, today we're going to learn how to enter visits in the new Commissioner tools under My.Scouting. Currently we have access to an area where we can go in, log in and play with it. They will not be our actual units and it will not be your actual login that you're using. The district commissioners have received the login information so that you can go in, play with it, write down your questions as you have them, get a hold of your district commissioner. If they can't answer it, certainly get a hold of me and we will go from there. So I'm going to start by entering the user ID. Now when you do this, when we go live, you will use the same ID and password that you are already set up for your myscouting.org where you currently enter your visits. So after we get signed in, you're going to see that it's welcomed Nathaniel Sutanto. That's who we're logged in as. He's a district commissioner, so that gives us access to utilize all the portions of the commissioner's tools. First place you go is you click on Home, and you're going to go down to Commissioner's Tools. And that brings up the district that Nathaniel is registered under. So if you're registered under Boquet, it will bring up the Boquet district. We do not utilize sub-districts in our council, so that's what you're seeing here. That's what the SD over here stands for, is sub-district. We don't currently use those, so you won't see that. What you'll get is a listing of all your units. Like you see down here, there's Cub Scout Pack 500. You can tell it's Cub Scouts because it's got the Cub Scout symbol. If we scroll down on that, no, it's not going to let me do that. All right. So if we go into the sub-district, it will bring up the units in that sub-district. As you can see, in that district, they had 100 registered units with 21 registered commissioners. We're just waiting for it. Now some of this, of course, depends on the speed of your internet connection, how quickly you're going to be able to connect and log in. You can see we have Cub Scout units, and then we have Boy Scout troops, and if they have any crews, those get listed below the troops. You can use the search function to search by the unit number if you want to. So this sub-district has 12 registered units and no commissioners. So we're going to pretend that we went to Pack 315 and we made a visit. So we're going to click on that, and it brings up that there's a commissioner currently assigned. The health indicators for the unit, it doesn't currently have any because we haven't completed a detailed assessment for this unit for the year yet. Once you have a detailed assessment, you'll have bars in different colors indicating the individual areas, finance and leadership, training, boy health, those things, so that you can see the areas. The last contact was made 9 days ago. So we have one scheduled in the future at a Unit Key 3 meeting. You can go in and schedule visits so that it'll show up on your calendar in your My.Scouting. Also, when you're going to do a detailed assessment, you want to schedule that in advance. It will send an email to the registered email of the top leaders for the unit, the committee chair and the Scoutmaster or Cub Master, and your chartered organization representative. We see we have one incomplete contact that's still in progress, and then we have our completed ones, the simple assessments, where the unit was given a score. Green means the unit is healthy, yellow means the unit has some issues, and red means the unit is in danger and we need to get somebody in there. So we're going to start with a new contact. So we're just going to go up here and click on New Contact. So first thing we need to do is select the type of contact. Our options now are unit meeting, unit committee leader meeting, unit key 3 meeting, unit activity, unit parent meeting, or other. Other can be used for any meaningful contact that occurs outside of the other options. So you're at the mall and you run into the Cub Master and you have a discussion about the unit. You would log it under other. The unit key 3 meeting is new. As we introduce that concept, hopefully we'll get some units on board with having those meetings. Again, the unit key 3 would be the committee chair, and either the Cub Master or Scout Master, and the chartered organization representative. So that's new for us, and I think it'll take some time to build that for us in this council. So we're going to say we went to a unit activity. Now, as a district commissioner or assistant district commissioner, if that is your registration, you can log a visit for someone else. Drop down the drop-down bar. Use always by drop-down bar so that the spelling is correct and it's logged to the correct ID number, your BSA ID number. So we're going to say that we're entering one for Joseph. The date of contact, of course, defaults to the day of today. You can go back up to 60 days in My.Scouting, which is different than My Scouting under the old tools where under UVTS you could go back much further. You can only go back 60 days. So we're going to say we went on Wednesday. The unit health is the next thing you need to indicate. So it's either declined, improved, or unchanged. Currently, the unit is logged at a 4. So we're going to say at this unit activity that the unit health declined. And we're going to go in and just enter a simple assessment. These will be, most of your contacts will be under simple assessments. The detailed assessment is much like the unit health assessment that we used to do twice a year. And I'm going to give an assessment score of a 2. At this point, I want to make a comment to indicate why that has declined. And we're going to say the Cub Master resigned due to job transfer and no one has stepped up. I'm going to save and complete this contact. And you can see where the score went down to a 2. And there it popped into the complete. Now, as a district commissioner or an assistant district commissioner, I can go click on the little green squiggly, which means there's comments in there that I can read, because I want to know why it's dropped to a 2. And then we're going to review the assessment details, and it tells me, there's the comment, Cub Master resigned, and no one has stepped up. We obviously need to get in there as commissioners right away and try to help the unit find a Cub Master and support their efforts to get that done so that the unit can survive. So we're just going to close out of that. If we go in and we're going to go make that new contact, but we're waiting on some additional information. We can just save the contact and it'll pop in here as an in progress one, because there'll be times where if I'm entering a contact for someone else, I may need to get some additional information before I complete that. So that is how you do a simple assessment. Those are going to be most of your contacts that you make with the units. Twice a year is our goal. We want to do detailed assessments of each unit. So once again, we're going to go in and do a new contact. need to fill in our drop-down boxes. Ideally, you'd be doing a detailed assessment at your Key 3 meeting. And we're going to click on the detailed assessment. Now, if we schedule this, it will send this form to your unit Key 3. You can also print a paper copy for them if they don't have access to email or don't have a correct email entered. And we can print the commissioner assessment form to write down our thoughts beforehand. So there are 6 steps in a detailed assessment. The first step is training and membership. And all you're doing on that one is reviewing the data. You can see it loads in the leaders, the training data, the leaders that are not trained. If you scroll down, you'll get to the youth protection status of expired, or here we have one that's never taken, and the membership numbers registered in the unit for both adults and youth. When you're doing a detailed assessment, obviously this is information we want to provide to the unit for the youth protection status. Make sure they have a plan to get that corrected immediately. And also obviously encourage them to get to training and provide training date information. When we're done with that, it's going to show it's now complete. Everything defaults to in progress until you're done. So we're going to go into membership. Your membership assessment score. You are going to assign an assessment score based on what is happening in the key areas of membership and make comments as necessary. What are the areas they can improve in? What are the areas they've declined in? So the key areas there are going to be retention. Retain a significant percentage of youth members. So then we need to enter a number here. Oh, this is if you want to use the calculated score based on the individual areas. So you can let it calculate for you. Then you will have access to these drop downs. So it tells you what the ranking is on each of these then. The retention. Typical unit, needs improvement, making progress, ideal or weak. Obviously, if we're going to make a 1 or a 5, we definitely want to make some comments as commissioners to let the other members of the district know why it's working, what's not working. Also, it helps us to remember information for later. So if I say it needs improvement, lost entire den. Except if I could spell. So we continue to scroll down here. Building Cub Scouting. So we have an increase in Cub Scout membership or maintain a larger than average pack size. You will see this language is very similar to what shows up on the JTE forms. Typical unit. We have a Webelos to Scout transition. So have an effective plan to graduate the Webelos Scouts into Boy Scout troops. Unit has made no contact with a troop. That's something obviously we want to help facilitate. So describe action that may help raise assessment of performance. Well, we need to obviously make contact with the troop. Now what's great is if you're doing this with a unit, you can identify the person responsible to help fix that. Can you pause that?
No, stop it completely.
Oh. It's not letting me scroll. Which I don't understand. I'm done with that. We're gonna have to stop it because it's like it won't let me do anything, so it's not gonna work now. Okay. So you can put in some accountability. If the Cub Master is gonna take care of that, Jane Doe. A target completion date of February 4th. You can go back later and add the actual completion date when it gets done. That way it gives some accountability to the person completing it and assigned to it. So I can save that individual section. I can go back in and view it again to see where the calculated score came up a 2. And then I can just close that out. So it's now in progress. So obviously we need to, it will not complete and go into the completed until we've filled in all 6 of those sections. So you just go back into the detailed assessment. Or not. Let's try that again. Sometimes the sandbox has some technical difficulties. We're just going to have to work through those as we learn to play with it. I've personally been able to go in and log a simple assessment in about 2 minutes. So it doesn't ask for all the information we used to have to enter. Alright, so here it brings it up. You can see what's still in progress, what still needs to be completed before you can complete the contact. It won't allow you to do it. See, if I click on that, it says the unit assessment form is incomplete. Please complete scores to complete this assessment. Okay, so you can see you actually have to complete all of it and it gets logged. So whereas before we didn't have a place for those assessments, now they get logged online. So those are both the simple and detailed assessments that we complete with our units. I encourage everyone to go in, play with it, look at each of the individual things. The troop is very similar to the pack. The differences in verbiage and wording, obviously, they're not looking to build Cub Scouting, they'd be looking to build Boy Scouting. The venturing is also changed for verbiage for their program. I'm going to click on saving, and it's telling me it's still incomplete. So I can't save and complete it when it's incomplete. So I'm going to close out of that. So everyone should go in and practice a couple visits, putting them in, playing with it, the detailed assessments, scheduling those, we'll go through a couple of the other buttons. We have archive contacts. You can see when contacts were made that are not showing on your completed list anymore because they're older. And you see that they're read-only, but you could go in and read them if you wanted to. And then the resources button. Which provides the district commissioner and the district chairman information. As a unit commissioner, that's what's going to come up for you. It's going to go one level up from where you're registered. So if you're registered as the district commissioner, you're going to get the council commissioner. So we'll close out of that. And that completes the basics of entering your contacts.